Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 11 of Dangerous Conversations. And after 11 episodes, this will be the last one where we'll refer to this as Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert, because moving forward, it will now be known as Dangerous Conversations with Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich, because not only is Tommy Rich joining us this week, but Tommy is now going to be a regular part of the show from this point forward, and I can't tell you how happy and excited we are. Right, Doug?
That's exactly right. You got my brother on here with me, Tommy Wildfire Rich, and he'll be on here with us a whole lot from now on.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited. Tommy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about y'all, man?
We're doing good. I don't know if we're doing as good as you, man. We ain't been out taking cruises and on the beach, man. I see you on Facebook just living it up, brother.
A little bit ago. Yeah, we went down and watched the sunset.
Can't beat that.
That's got to be great, don't you?
It does. I'm jealous, man. I'm nowhere near the coast up here in Alabama. I'm up here in Gadsden. There ain't nothing to see up here. But
I've been to Gadsden many a time.
Hey,
that's the old stomping ground. Hey, you know who called or sent me a text today?
Who's that?
Mickey Henry. You remember old Mickey Henry?
Oh, yeah, from Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted me to come wrestle for him.
Hey, Mickey got to be about 90, ain't he, Tommy?
Well, Terry Lynn asked me, was he still alive? I said, he's still alive.
Still alive and running that show in that building every Saturday night.
He was old when I first met him.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, you guys, I mean, we got podcasts coming up, but that's not all. Tomorrow, you guys are going to be at the University of Memphis. Tell us a little about what's going on, Doug, at the University of Memphis tomorrow.
Man, we're going to be at Tiger Lane, which Tiger Lane sits right there outside the stadium. It's where the football players come down walk down the street to get to the stadium and everything. And it's really cool. Everybody does their tailgate parties out there and everything. But they come to watch wrestling, which me and Tommy have been there, I think, Tommy, 2 or 3 times?
I think two.
2 times.
This be 3 here.
Yeah, this be 3. And, man, it's really cool, ain't it, Tommy?
Oh, God. And right next door to where we are, shoot. It's just the history. I get goosebumps thinking about it now, man. I mean, right next door to it, that's where professional wrestling, some of the greatest matches in the world ever took place. The old Mid-South Coliseum, just the history there. It's going to be, it's great. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about this week. As a matter of fact, it's tomorrow night, ain't it?
It sure is. It sure is. And you look right across from where we wrestle at, like Tommy said, just right at the Mid-South Coliseum. That's so cool. And everything. And I usually go over there, and me and Tommy take a picture, kind of, with the Mid-South Coliseum in the background. That's really cool.
Man, yeah. Make sure y'all get one of those and send it to us. We'll get that on the Dangerous Conversation Facebook page for everybody.
And after that, after the wrestling, there's a sign in the when you walk in the stadium, they got tables, and we do signings right there after the show and everything when people's coming in, and that's a really cool deal. We could talk to me and Tommy the last couple of years talked to the fans from the past, and that's really cool.
Shoot, we met kids that their parents, you talk about the past, that they've introduced them, their kids, they've introduced them to the past. I mean, it's funny because, a lot of young kids come up and, I'm almost an antique now, but kids will come up and say, I think you saw, but that's where their parents have turned them on to YouTube and watching the old school matches. And so that's pretty cool too. And then, the Memphis, the fans that come out to support that football team too. They old school, and they old school wrestling fans too. So it's just a great day, period. And tomorrow night, it's all going to be happening.
It's like I've told Gene before, Tommy. 7 out of every 10 homes during y'all's days on through when I started and everything, and really when you started and everything, 7 out of every 10 homes in Memphis had their TV on wrestling. I mean, that's something. I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's, it was a family thing too. I mean, it was just, like you said, talking about, the fans. I mean, young folk come up and know me. And I'm like, how did they know that? But it's where the history was passed on. And it used to be a family affair. I mean, it's changed some now. But back in the day, man, I mean, you seen, the grandparents, the parents, and the kids. So it was like a family affair, it was really cool.
Absolutely. And, you guys are going to be there, and there'll be a whole host of Memphis legends there. You guys won't be there alone. So make sure you guys go check that out at University of Memphis down there on Tiger Lane. Come see Doug and Tommy and all sorts of great Memphis wrestling legends there. So look forward to seeing everybody there. And that's not all you guys have coming up. You also have a big pro wrestling legend show coming up Saturday, November the 2nd, Clarksville, Arkansas, with the exhibit building at the fairgrounds, guys. There's going to be a fan fest from 2 to 6 p.m. The show kicking off at 7 p.m. But man, listen to some of the people on this lineup. So we got Doug Gilbert, we got Tommy Wildfire Rich, we've got the Grapplers, we've got Preston Vance from DW, Brian Kendrick, who was Spanky in the WWE. We got the Perfect 10 Baby Doll from Jim Crockett Promotions and World Class and all over. We got a guy that's going to come up and say, "Hey, young man," to Tommy Wildfire Rich, Golden Chick Donovan.
Golden boy.
Hey, you got another guy. You got another guy that might come up and say, "Hey, young man," to Tommy Rich is one of his partners from before.
Yeah, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas is going to be there. I mean, it's going to be, that's going to be a big show. I'm looking forward to that. And it's always good when you get together and get to see, we used to, a lot of us are together every night, and you get that bond between you and everything. And it's to get to see these guys you ain't seen in years, it's always good. I love doing that too.
And Gene, people don't realize, like Tommy said, I mean, me and him was around each other more than probably anybody at times during the years and everything. But I mean, like me and Tommy seen each other more than we've seen our family. I mean, and other people, we don't see, In
other words, I spent more time with Doug than I had my wife.
Hey, but I carried him to the airport and let him fly home to see her a lot of times too, didn't I, Tommy?
Yes, sir, you did. A couple of times we pulled in the parking lot and decided to go on home, too.
Yep.
Well, that'll definitely be a future podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's a good story. We'll have to tell you that one sometime.
Oh, yeah.
We'll make everybody wait for that one, but that's definitely a story we need to revisit here on Dangerous Conversations. But a lot of folks have been sending me questions, and we kind of teased it on the Facebook after the interview we did in Jackson, that we were going to talk a little bit about the new Fabulous Ones. So, I'm going to pose this question to both of you guys because, and Doug, you were watching it more as a fan, kind of in this era here in 1984. The Fabulous Ones, Stan and Steve. What did you guys think of the gimmick, their work, and just Stan and Steve as people outside of the ring in this era around 1984?
Well, hey, when they come in, I can't remember if it was Lawler or Jarrett's idea, but when they brought them in, shoot, it took off. I mean, they was as hot as any babyface team in the country. I mean, you couldn't touch them. I mean, they both, Steve could work a lot better than Stan, but they both, they did a good job. They draw big bucks.
Oh, they sure did, Gene. And I mean, it was Jerry's idea. It was Jerry Jarrett's idea. But the good thing about that being Jerry Jarrett's idea, Lawler had to have him a team. So his team was the Rock and Roll Express that he put together. So it all worked out good for everybody in that situation.
That's right. And so, the Fabulous Ones come in and they initially get over. They've got the endorsement of the fabulous Jackie Fargo, which in Memphis, what higher level stamp of approval can you get?
There's not.
Right.
There is not none.
But what's fun to me, and I remember seeing this as a kid, like in 84, you see these guys, they come out in the tuxedos and the top hats. You watch those music videos, which, you go back and watch them now, they don't exactly hold up. They come off a little different than they were intended back then, I believe. So you don't necessarily think of these guys as tough guys with this Fabulous Ones look. But, man, they got in there and they feuded with the sheep herders and the Moondogs and the Assassins, and they had these just bloody battles. And I think that's part of what really got them over, because it's like, oh, the women liked them, but then the guys were like, oh, these ain't just a couple of pretty boys. These guys will throw down when it's time. Do you think that had a lot to do with they kind of earned the fans' respect? They initially had the Jackie Fargo endorsement, but then they kind of earned it by getting in there and showing they could throw down when they needed to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, you can walk that walk, but you got to be able to talk that talk. And I think all in all, they did it. I mean, they, you know, Jarrett, like Dougie said, I mean, I didn't remember, but that was his idea. And it was something, you know, Memphis, especially with Jackie Fargo backing it, is something they ain't never seen. And then, like you said, I mean, they could get down and fight like dogs too. I mean, Steve Keirn, shoot, he was a pretty bad fella, you know.
So for the people listening that, you know, maybe younger fans that's familiar with you guys, but maybe Jackie Fargo's a little before their time, and maybe they've heard the name, but they don't really know about him. Can you guys kind of explain to people who maybe don't have the exposure to him just exactly who Jackie Fargo was and kind of what he meant to Memphis wrestling in the era kind of before you guys came through?
When I was a kid, Jackie Fargo was there, you know, and Eddie Marlin was a good friend of my father's, so I used to go to the old Hippodrome. I remember back when I was a little kid, and back then they served glass beer bottles, and they'd make them so mad they'd be throwing them glass beer bottles. I mean, Jackie Fargo, shoot, they was blonde before blonde was cool. I mean, you know, I mean, they just anything against the system, that's what they did. And you know, Don Fargo, you put them together, and Lord. And then and through the years, then they brought old Nuthouse Fargo in, old Roughhouse, you know, and get out every 6 months when they get the big 6-man deals. So, yeah, Jackie to Memphis, I mean, Sputnik Monroe maybe. But other than that, I mean, you know, when you talk about back then, who's the wrestling in Memphis, Jackie Fargo to me, but Sputnik Monroe was knocking on that door too. You know, Sputnik was, you know, he was down on Bill Street and running them roads. Jackie, you know, but I mean, and of course, Jackie taught me a lot too. I learned a lot from Jackie Fargo too. Maybe somewhat not to do, but I learned a lot what to do too.
Oh, hey, and what you said about, like, you were talking about Fabulous Ones taking on tough guys. Jackie Fargo was one of the tough guys. I mean, right, Tommy? I mean,
yes, sir.
He could do it all. He could brawl, wrestle, anything, anybody. And, I mean, he could have a good match with anybody.
Yes, he could. I mean, you know, that Fargo strut was the gimmick, but he could back the strut up, you know. And people still copy it today, you know.
Right, and I mean, and Tommy, he drew money. I mean, he drew money.
And back in the day, I mean,
But I mean, the thing with him, a lot of people won't realize, like you said, Gene, people younger and that don't know and they're listening to this is Fargo. Even when he come in, when he was older, and like with Tommy and Eddie, he still drew money, didn't he, Tommy?
Oh yeah, Jack. I mean, he was, like I said. I mean, Memphis, you know, I mean, it might be Jerry the King Lawler's town now, but back then it was Jackie Fargo's. I mean, he was the whole territory back then. You know, I mean, they drawed money everywhere they went.
I want to touch on one thing you mentioned there that I think is cool about in those days when there was no internet. And at that point, we really didn't even have cable TV. It allowed for referee Sonny Fargo, who could work up in the Crockett territory as a referee, but then come home to visit at holidays and be Roughhouse Fargo, and nobody was none the wiser. They didn't know that that's what he was doing all the time. They thought he was locked up in the nut house, And he was a big draw, right? When he would come in for those matches, that was that drew money, didn't it?
But that's because he act like a dude too. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and
I
it
mean,
was.
You think he just got out of a nut house or something? You know. I mean, yeah. I mean, just just the just the gimmick, the Fargo gimmick. I mean, like, shoot, I've been doing it 50. That's been 60, 70 years ago. Folks still talk about it. You know, that's pretty dang cool.
Absolutely. So, in 84, the Fabs had gotten over. They'd become a huge draw there. And they decided that they were going to go try their luck in other territories. They were going to go up north. They were going to work for Vern Gagne and do some other things. And Jerry Jarrett was none too happy with this, I assume. Tommy, when do you remember, and Doug, you too, for whenever you heard, when Eddie mentioned it to you, do you guys remember when Jerry Jarrett approached you with the idea of like, hey, we're going to make some new Fabulous Ones, and I want you guys to do it?
It was just about a month before Eddie and Tommy started. So you're the date guy. You could tell me exactly when, but it was about a month. Right, Tommy, because you had just left
Atlanta,
and everything, but it was about a month before they started because Eddie and Tommy done like about 2 weeks done some videos and different things, but it was about a month and everything's about what it was.
Yeah, they did some. Yeah.
Remember y'all did the video time? Remember where you putting the gloves on and you're putting the jackets on and
pointing at the camera,
but don't show their faces. Remember the video I'm talking about, Gene? There's that video you're talking about where it don't show their faces, but it shows them putting the ties on, putting the jackets on, and it shows them pointing, but it don't show their faces. And the people are saying, "Who is this?" and everything, and then they wind up showing on the next one who it is.
Because those videos were a big deal back then. Like, that is really how you pumped up these angles and got people over before they showed up on TV. Was people now don't really appreciate what a big deal those were back then.
And what a lot of people might, and not taking away from what we're talking about now, but just what a lot of people might not realize, that was Jerry Jarrett. That's where all the videos and all that stuff started. I mean, like, they started doing them and whether it was Jerry Jarrett's idea or whose, but that's who I work for. So, but anyway,
it was Jerry Jarrett and Jimmy Hart. I mean, the good thing
Jimmy Hart
knew music and everything, and he knew the recording the videos and stuff. But Jerry Jarrett and Lawler went along, with all the stuff because that was the catching thing at the time.
So, Tommy, how did you guys feel about this? Were you guys on board? Like, yeah, this is going to be good. Or did you have any concerns? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if people are going to be happy with new Fabulous Ones, or was you just willing to go in and give it a shot and see how the fans reacted?
Well, Jerry Jarrett was the boss.
And the guarantee was good.
There you go.
It was just, Steve and Stan just left. I don't know. Eddie and myself, we draw good together. Yeah. But I think Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert
and Wildfire Tommy Rich
and Tommy Wildfire Rich, I think that meant more.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jerry just did. It's hard. What's that old saying? Imitated but not duplicated.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to do that, and plus Tommy Wildfire Rich off Atlanta TV and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert done been to Louisiana, been to North Carolina, been to Puerto Rico. He's been around the country, and he was Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. So when you put them two together, people knew us as who we were. People didn't know Stan and Steve Lane, Stan Lane from Adam,
right.
And they put the gimmick on them. So
and I always thought that you guys, Eddie Gilbert and Tommy Rich, standalone was a great tag team, and you didn't need it. Do you think it was more about Jerry Jarrett kind of sending a message to Stan and Steve, like, hey, I made y'all, and I can put this gimmick on anybody.
Oh,
I don't need you
Yeah,
to.
it was.
We were like prefab. We were like prefab is what we were.
Eddie said that him and Tommy was extra crispy.
That
Stan Steve was original. Him and Tommy was extra crispy. But here's the only thing: we say this, and I definitely agree. I mean, it's been better with Tommy Wildfire, Rich Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert. But here's the thing: with the funny thing to me, people say, "Well, they're copying Stan and Steve." Well, maybe the name, but what really got me was funny was you'd watch TV and like Tommy and Eddie would do stuff, and then you would see later on AWA tapings, Stan would be copying stuff that like Tommy would do the deal where he would shoot the gun like with his hands like this and everything, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, Stan Lane would be doing the same thing Tommy would be doing on TV. So I thought, well, shoot, people say, Eddie and Tommy have copied them. Well, they're copying Eddie and Tommy on stuff that they're doing. So, and like the video, the Footloose video, Tommy and Eddie had you remember the song Footloose, Gene? Do you remember that video?
Oh, yeah.
Tommy, you remember that video?
Yes,
Tommy?
sir, I do.
Well, and they wound up playing the Footloose thing up there as a song. Now, who would, you know what I'm saying? It's a strange thing.
Yeah, I've went back and rewatched a lot of this stuff, preparing for us to do this. And so here's the fun aspect of this. So it was announced that Jackie Fargo was getting some new Fabulous Ones together.
I think that you're really going to be proud, as I am, of these men. They know what to expect from me. They know what to expect from you. They've been in New York and Ohio and all over the North and all over the West. Now they're in the good old South. They both love hominy grits and hog jaws and black-eyed peas, baby. Tommy, Eddie, baby, we got our work cut out for us. I don't want 100% from you. I want 110. So let's get with it and be good boys and put out all you got. And don't ever forget the fans. They're the backbones of the whole thing. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And my new Fabs, baby, and we'll be seeing you around.
And so one of the more controversial aspects of this whole thing, we mentioned Jimmy Hart a minute ago. So they show that first video that Doug referenced where we don't see their faces. We just see the coats and, they're putting everything on. And then Jimmy Hart comes out on TV and announces that the Bruise Brothers, Troy Graham and Porkchop Cash, had died. complete with pre-tape footage from their alleged funeral service. They had Joe LeDuc as one of the only attendees along with Jimmy Hart. What do you guys think of that? That's fun.
I love it. Only Memphis. Right, Tommy?
Yeah, only. Hey, that is a lot of ad lib going on. Yeah, but Jimmy, of course, Jimmy won. Hey, he good on that mic, too. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah, because he played it completely straight until they started showing the video. He's out there, just as serious as could be. Yes, the Bruise Brothers have died. And they're like, wait a minute. And Lance like, I haven't heard anything about this. And like, oh yeah, they're dead. They're gone.
What Lance said now, Jimmy?
Oh, come on, Jimmy.
Oh man, he was one of the greats too. Lance Russell, man.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Hats off to him and his family, man. Yeah, he was. Hey, he made a bunch of us better than we was.
He sure did.
So while we're mentioning that, guys, I think this would be a good time to kind of veer off into that real quick and just kind of give Lance some credit. How important, Doug, we've talked about on the show about the live aspect of Memphis wrestling and how that was maybe challenging for some new guys and young guys coming in who really hadn't done live TV and they weren't used to having to do live promos there on there. How critical was Lance to getting guys who weren't experienced doing live promos, steering them through them promos? Because, man, knowing it now, you watch those promos and you can see Lance just taking them where they need to go.
Tommy, Lance would walk a person through a promo, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like wrestling. I mean, if you listen to one's in charge, then you have a hell of a match. and Lance was in charge of that mic at all times. I mean, yeah, he knew what to do, where to go. When it messed up, he knew where to go. So, yeah.
And Lance drawed as many people as we did. I mean, Lance didn't, Tommy. I mean, Lance talk and I mean, getting the angles over and everything. I mean, Lance was great. He's my favorite.
That's why it was in 7 out of 10 houses every Saturday morning. I mean, Lance, you know, hey, he made it.
Lance and Dave was like especially Lance, but I mean Dave too. Dave was great, but Lance was like your friendly uncle or something, right, Tommy?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, Lance. Oh, he
you
never had a
uncle.
bad word to say. You know, I mean, he tried even when it's bad, he tried to make it be good.
He's your friendly uncle and have a few drinks with you.
Yeah,
that's exactly. And they felt like family members. And of course, you know, Lance had that, uncle fatherly feel to him. And then Dave, he's the weatherman. So you trust him with your daily, daily life, going about your business, watching the weather and all that. So, man, those guys, I think, a lot of people like them, but I don't think they still get exactly enough credit for what a big part of that show and success that they were.
No, they don't. I mean, they sure don't.
Because if Lance co-signed on somebody, it got him over,
Yeah, that's right. Even though Gene, I think Lawler did call Dave Brown the weather clown, didn't he?
And he did. He sure did. So, we got Graham and Porkchop Cash as new fabs with Jimmy Hart, and then we've got Jackie Fargo's new fabs, which is you and Eddie, Tommy. Now, I can only assume that there was probably a somewhat lengthy feud planned here with you guys against the former Bruise Brothers, but Troy Graham would suffer a pretty dramatic injury during a match. What do you guys remember about that, and how did you like working with those guys?
Man, it was in Nashville, Tennessee, and Troy went to slide through Tommy's legs. It might have been Eddie's, but I think it was Tommy's, and his ankle hooked on the mat, and his body kept going, and it broke his, compound break of his leg. And you remember that, Tommy?
Yeah, now I didn't go to know where you was going, but I do remember that now. Yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it was, God, and that Troy, he can work, but the odd dog on the microphone, ain't nobody, he got the twisted barbed wire, and I can't even remember. I used to try to say what he would say, and I couldn't even do it, man. Yeah, but yeah, it sure did. Ended his career.
What would he say? Gene, walk 1,000 miles on
a
barbed wire fence.
And something about 9,000 buckshots and all that. It's been a while since I've heard it, but man, he could just fire it out there.
He would rattle that off, man, and I'd pop every time he did it, yeah. Because I thought, damn, I couldn't remember two lines of that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it wasn't just him on TV. When he was talking to me and Tommy in the back, he was rolling off stuff like that, and he'd keep us laughing. He was a funny guy.
Yes, sir, he sure was.
A lot of people didn't realize that when he was in that wheelchair as Dr. Troy Graham managed the interns, he was legitimately in that wheelchair. He really had destroyed his leg, and he was in that wheelchair because he had to be. But oh my gosh, man, he got when the fabs came back, and
a lot of folks don't understand today. He was sitting in that wheelchair and out there working because we didn't get paid if we
didn't work
or something.
Right.
We get paid. Sitting at home, you didn't get paid. So, you had to do what you had to do. In the office, they took care. As long as you could get there, they'd pay you. But if you didn't get there, they didn't pay you.
Yeah. The interns had that feud with the Fabulous Ones in '85. And, they brought Stan and Steve's dad out there on TV. And, then the interns beat up their dads on TV. And man, Troy would get out there and, Colonel Keirn had been, a prisoner of war and a war hero and all this. And Troy's out there, you're shell-shocked daddy. He didn't know. He thought he was back in Vietnam when we got through with him. Like, he said some pretty heavy stuff on some of them promos. And I was like, whoo, I don't know how Steve felt about some of that stuff, but I mean, I'm sure it's like, hey, you're drawing money. It's all fair game, right?
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So another team that you guys worked as the new Fabulous Ones was the PYT.
That's what I was fixing. PYT Express was next, wasn't it?
Yes, talk about those guys. So, man, Coco used to beat the hell out of those poor enhancement guys on TV. Was he as rough when you guys worked him, Tommy, as he was? Them poor guys on TVs just got beat to death. Man, he was in '85. He was doing brain busters that just to this day I watch him now in 2024, and I just think, oh my God, he just paralyzed this poor guy. And it'd be Billy Travis or somebody that I know was fine. They had another 20-year career, but it's brutal.
I don't think he ever brain busted Tommy or Eddie.
No, he never brain busted us. He was kind of moody, Coco be kind of moody.
What about hey Tommy? I love Coco, but I love Norvell. He was great.
Oh, Norvell! Oh Lord, have mercy! No. Hey, speaking of Sputnik Monroe, that's one of his proteges.
That's
Norvell, it. He old homeboy Norvell was. Yeah, love Norvell Austin.
He's a really talented guy that I don't think younger fans are really as familiar with. Coco had that run in WWF and even in UWF. And, this was kind of towards the end of Norvell's career. I don't think Norvell gets enough love and enough credit as he does. He's a really, really talented worker.
Oh, no.
He was over. I mean, not just here. He went to Continental. He was down there,
right.
And he was over down there. I think he ended up with a barbecue place or something there in Pensacola somewhere. But yeah, Norvell, he was, considering the times and everything. I mean, Norvell was over. I mean, and folks, they hated him. But like I said, Monroe, I think, is the one that broke him in the business. Like taken, right?
And Tommy was talking about him going Continental. That's where the Midnight Express really started at, right, Gene? It was Norvell and Dennis and Randy Rose. That was the original Midnight Express. Am I not correct, Gene?
Oh, absolutely. And I didn't learn that till later on when Dennis and Randy showed up. Did
you not know that, Tommy? Yeah,
I thought Randy.
It was Norvell. No, it was Norvell, Dennis, and Randy. That was the original Midnight Express.
Is that right? See, y'all throwing a little history on me tonight.
Now, see, when you can teach Tommy Rich something, this is a heck of a podcast, guys. Y'all need to pay attention here. This is good stuff. But yeah, I didn't learn that till later on, and I was pretty shocked about that.
But my point being, Gene, is Norvell fit in kind of anywhere, and he was, I thought, a great worker, and I loved watching him in that program against Eddie and Tommy, him and Coco.
Oh yeah.
And like I said,
talking about a joy to work with. I mean, they, just so easy,
But I always laugh when I hear the name Pretty Young Things, and then I picture Norvell. I love Norvell, but he was not pretty nor young at this point.
No,
I think it's where that name originated.
Yeah, that's it. But he had that long hair, and he was cool. And
that Jenna girl had a Jenna girl.
Yeah, and he had on his Michael Jackson vest and everything. Yes. That was cool.
Absolutely. So, and you guys, they
love to hate him. I mean, PYI was over.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here, curator of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, inviting you guys to listen to many of the programs here as part of the WrestleCopia brand, including, but not limited to, the Wrestling Memory Grenade, currently covering the 1988 and the WWF project. You can also listen to the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories, whether it's Jamie Ward with Georgia 81, Roman Gomez with the UWF in 1986, or Gene Jackson covering Memphis in 85. 3 projects going on right now over there at Regional Wrestling. You can also listen to the Wrestling Stoop with the legend himself, Bob Roop. Bob goes back in time each and every week, covering not just his career, but countless stories and interactions with hundreds of wrestling names spanning his 2 decades in the business. But that's not all. You can also check out the Puro Wrestling Academy with the professor of Puro Resu, Mr. Dan Ginnity. Dan and I go back in time and cover the history of Japanese professional wrestling in the English language. And you can listen to all of those shows and more, all part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, located over at WrestleCopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, and anywhere your podcast streaming needs are met, from Apple to Spotify, Pocket Cast, and beyond. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our social media guys for all the latest goings on here at the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Plus, I'm constantly adding old school video clips and pictures from throughout wrestling history. You can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter, at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. Also, follow and like me, Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. And why not subscribe to YouTube.com/Wrestling Grenade. So if you're looking to support that next up-and-coming podcast brand, please consider making it WrestleCopia.
Hey, it's Bob Smith, and guess what? The Outdated Wrestling Hour is now part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. But hey, no fear, you're still going to hear the unique guests, comedy, music, authors, journalists, funny people. Who knows who's going to end up on the Outdated Wrestling Hour? Remember, it's all new and all old. So check it out in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcasts. Listen if you know what's good for you.
You guys became the Southern Tag Team Champions, and you defended against a number of teams. We'll go through a list of them here and just kind of let you give your thoughts on them here. The Zambui Express, Big Ray Candy, and trying to think
Bad
Leroy Brown.
Yes, sir.
How were those guys to work with?
They were great big boys, and of course I seen them sling some folks around, but they, I guess they liked Eddie and me because they could just beat us to a pulp. But no, we had, especially 2 little guys like Eddie and myself, wrestling great big old fellas. We had good matches with them. I mean, actually.
Yeah, because, I got to imagine, I've heard different takes from different guys over the years. Like, some people didn't like working big old guys like that because you couldn't, as they said, you couldn't do much with them. But as baby faces, it's not hard for them to put you in believable peril that you can fight from underneath. And from the word go, it's like, how are they going to overcome these big guys? So from that standpoint, it seems like maybe it's a little easier story to tell.
I might drop kick him. Eddie might drop, and then we shoot him in double drop kick, and they take a bump. You know what I'm saying? But they knew how to play it, and we listened.
Now, another team you guys wrestled at this time was a very, very young in the business, Rick Rude and Jim Neidhart, who was pretty new in the business as well. How are those guys at this stage? We know they went on to have big careers, but how are they in 1984?
Well, actually, Jim was probably as stiff today as he was then. That just wasn't in his nature, I don't think, to be soft. Kind of like Stan Hansen,
Right.
Stan blamed it on he couldn't see. Stan just liked to beat you up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, they hit you too hard. Oh, I did it again. I'm sorry. That's some of that stuff. It's just mama say it bees that way sometimes.
How about Rick Rude? I know he turned into a pretty good wrestler, but some of these matches when you watch him in '84, I don't think he quite had got it all worked out yet. How'd you like work? We know Jim was stiff, so was it a matter of let's get Jim out of here and get Rude in? Or?
I'll be honest with you, Rick wasn't really smart. I guess he was smart, but he come from up there. With Vern Gagne, he worked at a bar and then come to Memphis, and he didn't mean no harm. I ended up being real good friends with Rick over the years. And it turned out to be one. I dropped some of the biggest money in the country. And they were just green. But like I said, Rick tried to work, and he was learning. And like I said, Jim, he was just Jim. You know, he was just still.
I think we got our quote of the show here with the
Yeah.
now as he was saying.
Still, yeah.
Oh, bless his heart. Well, all right. Now, another team you guys had a pretty established, notable feud with, and these videos live out there on YouTube. I suggest folks check them out because you guys had some very memorable street fights with Phil Hickerson and the Spoiler, which, of course, was good old Frank Morrell.
Frank Morrell, a.k.a. the French Angel, a.k.a. the Spoiler. Yes, sir. Shoot, he was down in Georgia. Yeah, Frank Morrell, Lord have mercy.
Hey, I loved those matches, Gene. I mean, to me, that was some of the greatest stuff and everything. I mean, if people hadn't seen it, you know, you need to watch that and everything. There's some cool. I mean, they had all kind of matches, from just wrestling matches that I thought was good to the street fights to the Gene, you probably remember better than I do as far as you.
Well, Gene's fact man.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's my fact
Hey,
checker.
Jimmy,
If I say anything wrong, he corrects me.
well, I'm gonna ask you a fact.
All right.
Who was my first match with?
Your very first match with?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
The fact man's already striking out on the first.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
Oh my gosh, I grew up 30 miles from there in Aberdeen. All right, I want to hear this. Who was it?
That's why you in Gaston now, because you don't remember.
They kicked me out. They kicked me out of Mississippi.
They kicked you out of Mississippi, didn't they?
They did me a favor, though.
Phil Hickerson. That was my first match. Tupelo, Mississippi.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Gee, okay, another fun fact. Do you know who broke it? Wait, this would be too hard. You remember Jerry Bryant?
Yes.
He started when I did. He did that high flying, and I did that ground work, you know. So it looked like he was going to be a little better than me. But anyway, he was supposed to wrestle Phil, and I was supposed to referee. We got there, and he pulled up limp. They knew I was going to wrestle, but I went out there and wrestled Phil in Tupelo. You know, they didn't want to tell me because they knew I'd be all jittery, I guess, which I would have. But anyway, I went out there and wrestled Phil, man. I think we went 10, 12 minutes, whatever it was, and he beat me, whatever. But anyway, to me, I mean, for my first match, and it was like dancing. I listened, you know. We had a good match. Well, the next night, we did Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I wrestled his partner, Tank Patton. And he ain't been working about 6 months either. And he was about 6'5", something like that. Weighed about 260 to 80 pounds. And he had two left feet like me. And then people started hollering, boring. And I thought, oh my God, maybe this ain't my cup of tea. You know, but it's just crazy that, you know, my first match, you know, I thought, boy, I got it. But the next night, I thought, Lord, what have I done? You know, but then went on with Phil. Of course, Phil, I don't think he gets all the credit he deserves either.
No.
To be as big a man and to bounce around like he did, you know, that's a feat in itself. And on the mic, he was good. I mean, yeah, we draw good money with him.
Oh, Phil was so believable, and he was a country tough, I mean, dude and everything. I mean, I love Phil. Phil, I carried Phil he rode me to a lot of the legend shows, like in Louisville and different places. I mean, Phil was that was the first guy that in the business. I mean, the angle that I done in the business was when Tommy and Eddie worked with Phil and Frank. That was the first thing I ever done in the business.
And, you know, people my age that grew up in the 80s, you hear Dennis Condrey and you think, you know, Dennis Condrey, Bobby Eaton, the Midnight Express. The people who grew up in the 70s, especially in Memphis, they hear Dennis Condrey. They think Dennis Condrey and Phil Hickerson. Those guys were
that's right.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that was a good team too. Yeah.
Yeah. They was real good, and not only in Memphis, Gene. They went to Canada and a few other places and done real good. I mean, they was just. I mean, Dennis was so smooth. I was partners with Dennis for a while, and man, Dennis was so freaking smooth. But Phil, like Tommy said, don't get the credit. I love Phil Harrison. He don't live but about 20 miles from me and everything. But Phil was great. And I mean, I loved watching their matches, Tommy and Eddie's matches with Phil and Frank.
So eventually, the Stan and Steve decide that the greener pastures weren't as green as they thought, and they start making their way back into Memphis. And eventually, and to me, the most famous part of the whole New Fabulous Ones saga is when you guys eventually had the big angle on TV where you guys kind of went your separate ways, but then they had the fan convention in town, and those guys come out and gave the award for Tag Team of the Year, and you guys managed to win the award, which people might should have wondered what was going on because, like, June, they're giving out the Tag Team of the Year award. That seemed kind of suspect. But nonetheless, you guys won the award, and kind of tell us about that whole angle and what you remember of it. Because I know it had to be something that Eddie really loved because he recreated it more than once. Famously, he redid it to almost the same success with the Nightmares later in Continental because it went so well. But just kind of tell me a little bit about, was that a Jerry Jarrett idea? Was that Eddie's idea? Was that yours, Tommy? How did that kind of come about?
It was probably Eddie's idea.
Yeah, I think it was Eddie's idea about the post. Remember, Tommy, he posted you. And well, y'all done that. Eddie told you he was sorry and he apologized for everything. And then y'all hugged and everything. Y'all went walking off and everybody was clapping and everything. Then Eddie put his hand behind your head and posted you, run you straight into the post, and you bled all over everywhere. And that was the angle of the year or something that year.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I do. I mean, God, I mean, it's something to just sit here and remember it. Like, I'm getting old. A lot of that stuff I don't remember, but when y'all talk about it, man, it gives me the flashbacks and everything. And then, God, that's back when wrestling was wrestling, man. I mean, it was, we could tell a story now. It's all such a rush now. But like we had time to tell a story, but it was stories that the people could believe too. We walking off arm in arm, and boom, he runs me into the post. What a dick!
What a bad day to wear a white suit.
People relate to that,
Right. Right.
And Eddie was always better at being cocky than I was. I mean, I enjoyed being that baby face. I mean, I could be a heel. But Eddie, I mean, you talk about a heel. He loved being a heel. He loved running that mouth. So yeah, it was the angle, and it got over too.
Drew money.
That's what I liked about a lot of Eddie's booking was in wrestling. There were a lot of things that, as it started to unfold, as a fan, you could be like, okay, I know where this is going. They're about to do this, but it seems like he would look at it from the standpoint of like, what does everybody think is about to happen? Now I'm about to turn it and take it in another direction that they're not expecting. Because how often wrestling up to that point had you ever seen somebody turn? Like, you come out and just, Eddie had come out and run you down, and you would come out and attack him. And like you say, you bloodied Eddie, and then he gives this heartfelt apology, and you believe him. But how often anybody ever done a double turn like that, where, like you said, that you're walking off arm in arm? I mean, people can say if they want to now, but I don't think anybody was expecting, once he apologized and you guys hugged, nobody knew that he was about to do what he did. And that's what gutted everybody. Like, oh, you son of a, it's like, and that's what really put the heat on that angle, and everybody felt terrible for you.
Well, and it's that's throwing that curveball. I mean,
yes,
I mean, and that was, and Eddie. I mean, Eddie was ahead of his time. He had ideas. I mean, of course, he went around the country being a booger. So that pretty much tells you he's a smart man. Even when he was young, though, he was thinking about the business. So, yeah, it just, when I started out, when I was a kid, I used to go with Eddie Marlin and Tommy Gilbert to different shows and stuff. Then I met Eddie. Eddie was there doing pictures and stuff, and Dougie was a little kid drinking the Coke like he is now.
Right.
No, but I've just known the Gilbert family, and just to know them is one thing, but to work with each one of them. I boxed with Tommy one night in Evansville, Indiana. I might have told you a story, but I don't care. It's right, yeah. He said, come on. My dad got my arms down around my knees, so I know him real well. Yeah.
So you guys had a good time, tagging, and then you ended up, in this feud. And like I said, it drew money and everything. What did you enjoy more? Did you enjoy tagging with Eddie, or did you enjoy working with him in the ring against each other?
I think there was more money with me working against Eddie. I mean, I enjoyed our fab run, but like I said, often imitated but never duplicated. Never take the time that we had to spend with Jackie Fargo, though. I mean,
hey,
there's
Tommy.
a perk. If there's a perk to the fabulous ones, it was getting to spend time with Jackie Fargo. That was the perk to that for him.
Hey.
For him to put us both, and because it had to be permitted.
Right.
Jared approved it with Jackie before he did it. So to know that Jackie approved it, that's an honor.
Hey, Tommy.
That's an honor. But as far as drawing money, I think Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert against Tommy Wildfire Rich, that was more money.
Hey, Tommy, there was some good limousine rides in there also.
That's what I was just thinking about. I ain't lying. That's another story another day, too.
There's another tease for you folks.
Eddie's eyes got big as saucers.
Well, we're kind of coming down to the end here. Doug, is there anything, any bow you want to put on that aspect of the new fabs, or is there anything you want to kind of touch on before we wrap things up with Tommy this week?
Man, like I said, everybody's got their own opinion and everything. I had a great time. Like I said, during that run, I'd stay with Tommy half the time during the summer, him and Terry, his wife, and everything, and they took care of me like their kid and everything. And man, I had a great time. And but as far as
that's another story too, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. But
gonna whoop my ass. Anyway, that's a story for another time.
But anyway, I love the angles, the angles that you talked about. I mean, I loved all them. Like I said, that's what I was growing up watching. And like I said, the first angle that I was involved in professional wrestling was Tommy and Eddie and Phil Hickerson, Frank Morrell, and everything. That was the first angle I was involved in. But I mean, Phil was great and Frank was great. I mean, I don't think Frank really gets credit either, Tommy. I mean,
no.
Frank was a great worker and Phil was great. I mean, I love both them guys, but I mean, Coco Norvell was really good. I mean, I like Porkchop and Troy and everything, and Ray Candy and Leroy Brown. I mean, they Tommy and them. That was some different type guys to be in angles with. Don't you think, Gene?
Absolutely. And I got sidetracked off this earlier, but I was going to ask, had Troy not broke his leg so severely in Nashville, I'm assuming the plan was probably for that feud to run on a little longer than what it.
Oh Lord, yeah. I mean, because hey, what you talk about Porkchop Cash too. That's another guy, man. I mean, in Memphis, I mean, he did good in Louisiana too, but he was another, just homeboy. I mean, to come in here and he drawed good money. That was a great combination. So yeah, they would have drawn big money if Troy hadn't got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, because Troy was a big deal, and then all of a sudden he breaks his leg, and he goes away until 1994.
Well,
so for 10 years he was,
Well, I mean, I think Tommy and Eddie and Troy and Porkchop would have drew great money because they had just started everything with them.
Yeah.
But and like Tommy said, Troy could talk and Porkchop could talk, but they could both work. I mean, and everything. I mean, it was good for this territory. I mean, they've been good for any territory, but I mean, they both had a lot of heat.
And then you had the Jimmy Hart aspect of it, and I'm sure that him and Jackie would have got involved with each other probably at some point, 6-man or something, which would have been a big draw.
Right.
But the PYT slid right in there, and you guys rocked right on and didn't miss a beat. So that's the way it played out.
But now, ain't it something? I mean, between Lawler and Jarrett, I mean, they come right up with a different solution when that happened, and that's what you had to do then.
Yeah.
I mean, like Tommy said, you didn't get paid for sitting at home. You still had to come to work, and you had to find other guys to put in spots to draw money. We wanted to ask you got any memories of Troy that you would like to share with us?
Just that he was he was old homeboy. I mean, he down to earth. I mean, you know him as well as I do. I mean, he'd give you a shirt off his back. I mean, he was always nice. Excuse me. He was always nice to me, and never seen him treat nobody bad. I mean, and like I said, his promos, I mean, I remember them, and his career got ended early. I mean, I hate that. I mean, that's just a fact of life and part of this business. And his just got, he got hurt and something he couldn't come back from. But I'll always remember Troy. I mean, he was as nice to me in the ring as he was in the dressing room.
Tommy, man, we appreciate you being on here. And look, I expect you back next week and everything. And man, you have a good night.
Hey, somebody say something about, I wouldn't miss it. I'll be there, brother.
Good deal. Listen, thanks. Peace.
Absolutely do not understand when you have three capable, tough guys like Dream Machine, Rich, and Doug Gilbert. They got to always have the numbers in their
Hey,
face.
Lance, your job's to stand out here and let us do the talking. You're like Mike Holder. You're supposed to hold the mic. Ain't that right, Drew?
That's right. Ball squalid, common, raw, old-time Jubilee. You know I can take the 4th of July, put it in May, reach for tomorrow, and bring back yesterday. You know I am the USWA champion, right, Lance Russell, or not?
Know that.
Who did I defeat for this belt?
How'd you get it?
I beat Brian Christopher 1, 2, 3 in the middle. Brian Christopher, you are the number 2 man on the totem pole. Jerry Lawler, you are the number 1 man. We all agree on that, right, Lance? But I have Tommy Wildfire Rich, the man that said Georgia on fire. Doug Gilbert, that said Lexington, Tennessee on fire. Now, there's those things we got to worry about is Tommy. We're setting out a hit list, if you want to understand what I'm saying. We're setting out a hit list, and Jerry Lawler, your name is on the top of the page, brother. And Tommy Wildfire Rich and Dirty Doug Gilbert.
After what I saw today, it should be more like a hang list than a hit list.
You know what, Lance Russell? Who else could put together a crew like this? The Dream Machine, Troy Graham, the former NWA World Champion, Tommy Wildfire Rich, the number 1 man in professional wrestling, Dangerous Doug Gilbert. What I'm saying is there is no stopping. Heaven don't want us, and hell is scared to take us. So that's it, Lance Russell.
Yeah, there's Doug Gilbert.
I've been all week in Key Largo with my man Jimmy Buffet. We've been Margaritaville. I've been getting ready for Jerry the King Lawler. Monday night, the Coliseum.
Stop on it, Tommy. He ain't even worried about it. He ain't even got no shoes on. I'm going to drop this boy right here in the ring like yesterday's garbage.
Why don't you go up there and let's get started with something other than running mouths up there? All right.
Wow, folks, what an announcement this week that the one and only Tommy Wildfire Rich has officially joined Dangerous Conversations full-time and will be here with us frequently, if not weekly. He'll be here as often as he possibly can, and who knows, there may be some times every now and again where Dangerous Doug might be out of pocket, and it may just be Tommy Rich, but you can rest assured that moving forward, we will always have one or both of those guys here every week for some dangerous conversations. By the way, if you have an upcoming wrestling show, autograph signing, collector show, Comic-Con, or any event or booking, and you would like to inquire about the services of Dangerous Doug Gilbert and or Tommy Wildfire Rich, just send us an email at DougGilbertPodcast@outlook.com, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible to find out more information and do our best to make that happen for you. Also, if you're interested in advertising your event, business, or product to the listeners of Dangerous Conversations, as well as across all our social media platforms, you can also send those inquiries to DougGilbertPodcast@outlook.com. Also, remember to check out DougGilbertPodcast.com. That is where you can find links to all things related to this podcast, as well as to Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich. We've added Tommy's links there as well, so you can find them, everything I describe, right here, the Dangerous Conversations Facebook page, where we post all sorts of great content almost daily, actually, involving the Gilbert family, as well as Tommy Wildfire Rich. We also have the Dangerous Conversations Twitter, now known as X. We post things there as well. Plus, there's the Dangerous Doug Gilbert Facebook and X pages as well, where you can keep up with everything Doug has coming up, like shows, signings, conventions, you name it. You can keep up with it by following Doug on social media. He appreciates the support, and if you really want to show your support, check out the Gilbert Family Pro Wrestling Tees store, featuring a tremendous array of t-shirts featuring Doug, Eddie, and their father, late great Tommy Gilbert. If you've enjoyed the show you just listened to, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on the platform of your choice. It would really help us in building the podcast for the future. And if you want to see a plethora of matches, promos, and angles featuring all the Gilberts, as well as Tommy Wildfire Rich, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@RetroWrestlingArchive. The link to it is available there at DougGilbertPodcast.com, where you can also find the link to Tommy Rich's Facebook page. You can go and check out a lot about Tommy there, as well as our Dangerous Conversations page. Plus, don't forget, you can find all things related to my popular retro wrestling review podcast at uswapodcast.com. And last, but certainly not least, we are proud to be a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Go on over to WrestleCopia.com to check out all of the great pro wrestling related podcasts and content that our friend Ray Russell provides over there. You'll be glad you did. And we'll see you here next week for more Dangerous Conversations with Dangerous Doug Gilbert and Tommy Wildfire Rich.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, where we go, what do we do? Be good, be safe, and keep on growing.